Syl Cheney-Coker used different literary devices in the breasts of the sea to pass the poem's message. Some of the most conspicuous literary devices in the poem include personification, allusion, metaphor, and imagery. Here is an analysis of the literary devices in the breasts of the sea. Number 1. Enjambment. The run-on lines in the poem, The Breasts of the Sea, keep it flowing. Here are some examples. Example 1. Stanza 1, lines 1 to 2. After our bloody century, the sea will groan under the weight, somewhere between breasts and anus. Example 2. Stanza 2, lines 10 to 12. Everything else is a fractured killer we cannot preserve. Once the sea's belly has washed itself clean of our century's blight. Number 2. Personification. The sea is given human-like qualities, and here are some examples. Example 1. The sea will groan under the weight. Lines 1 to 2. This describes the burden that the bloody century has placed on the sea in terms of exploration, exploitation, transportation, wars, and the aftermath of war. The sea therefore will groan as the weight increases. The sea is seen as human and alive, carrying a heavy weight. Example 2. Stanza 3, lines 18 to 19. But do you, O sea, long-suffering mistress, have the balm to heal the wound of our children? Here, Cheney-Coker likens the sea to a patient mistress, a healer, and a mother of children. He therefore asks if the sea in her patience can provide the needed balm and tend to the wound of the children. 3. Imagery. The choice of language and diction in the poem, The Breasts of the Sea, paints vivid pictures for the readers. Example, line 1, stanza 1. After our bloody century, the sea will groan. The expression bloody century in line 1 describes a time as filled with conflicts and wars, both at home and abroad. The groaning of the sea paints a picture of someone crying due to a deep pain, something they have no control over, a burden they must bear, or a deep loss. The line suggests that when what is going on is all done, the sea will bear a heavy burden that will cause it to cry out. Number 4. Metaphor. An example of metaphor in the poem The Breasts of the Sea is seen in stanza 2, line 10. Anything else is only a fractured killer. A killer is a pincer-like claw of arthropods like the crab. The use of the metaphor fractured killer here shows that after history is made and the memory lost and recaptured over time, the knowledge and effects become broken and useless like the broken killer. The crab can no longer grab anything with the fractured killer, so the knowledge will fade away over time. Another example of metaphor is seen in stanza 2, lines 11 to 12. We cannot preserve once the sea's belly has washed itself clean of our century's blight. The sea's belly is a metaphor for the place in the sea where everything that goes into the sea is preserved. Number 5. Allusion. The poem The Breasts of the Sea is rife with historical allusions, pointing out the violence, death, and bloody losses in the history of mankind. It describes the traumatic experiences by naming key events that created the trauma. Examples of the historical allusion in the poem include Noah's monologue, the Middle Passage's cargoes, and the remains of the Titanic. It extends a note that these historical events may just repeat if human nature is unchecked, by pointing out the expansion in scientific knowledge with reference to Darwin and his findings, the theory of natural selection being a common one played out in the experiences of the Sierra Leoneans. However, just like other knowledge, over time, These pains, sorrows, losses, etc., captured as our country's blight, will fade and may never be remembered again. Even the sea will wash away the history. Number 6. Simile. An example of simile in the poem is seen in stanza 3, line 17. Her hands swimming like horrors of red corals. This expression is used to capture the struggle for survival of Sierra Leoneans amid the horror and trauma they endured during the conflicts and wars in the country. Number 7. Alliteration. Examples of alliteration in the poem include stanza 3, line 17, in her and hence. Stanza 3, line 16, in broken and back. Number 8. Rhetorical question. The poem ends with a rhetorical question, stanza 3, lines 18 to 20. But do you, O sea, long-suffering mistress, have the bound to heal the wounds of her children, hand to foot the axe, alluvial river flowing into you? The last 3 lines of the poem ask the sea if it can heal the wounds of the people of Sierra Leone. However, the speaker does not expect a response, as the question is a part of his thoughts about what the country has been through as it ponders its future. Lastly, we have symbolism. The sea, as presented in Cheney-Coker's The Breast of the Sea, represents life, nature, and the unknown. The sea is said to have breasts, which shows that it nurtures life and at the same time protects nature. The other aspect of its protective power is seen in line 13, where the sea's breasts console the exiles, protecting life from damage. Stanzas 2 and 3 also show that the sea heals itself and can heal other aspects of nature. The sea as a symbol of the unknown points at the hidden knowledge and history within the belly of the sea. In conclusion, the poem, The Breast of the Sea, uses vivid descriptions to create a sense of the multiple roles of the sea as related to the situation of Sierra Leone in a certain century. The allusions give a historical touch. These literary devices used in The Breast of the Sea deepen the understanding of the poem. Did you identify any other literary devices in the poem? Let's hear about it.